Hello YouTube, it is Pokemon and Nintendo World Championships commentator Justin, the Justin Flynn here, and we got an awesome build for you today. It is none other than the legendary Entei, a Pokemon that has seen its way back into competitive play recently. Before we head into today's Moveset Monday, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on this channel. And you can follow me on Twitter at thejustinflynn. In fact, following me on Twitter is a pretty good idea because right now I'm giving away 2 Pokemon figures. If you don't have one yet, I'm giving away the Cynthia Nendroid that you can find on Pokemon, I think it's on PokemonCenter.com, which is a really cool website where you can get tons of Pokemon stuff. But that's not what I'm here to do today. Today we're here to talk about Entei, why it's made it back into the metagame, why is it so awesome. Also, I got this build from PokemonForever.com. Thank you so much going out to GMX, an incredible Pokemon competitor. I believe he's won a couple tournaments here in the community, and he's a really cool guy and has submitted this build for an all-around Entei. He's actually put up a bunch of them. I'll put a link into the chat below, but this one I liked in particular because of its spread of its EVs, or its training spread, and simply because it kind of has just the right moveset I like on Entei. I think it's kind of a common moveset, but it's still a pretty good one. All right, let's talk about Entei. Why is it useful? Entei is a great Pokemon because of, check it out, its speed right here. 100. That's why you see it a lot. It outspeeds a ton of threats in the metagame, especially with high speed investment. Sometimes you can get a Sacred Fire off onto something that you wouldn't expect with another Pokemon, plus that 50% chance to burn 50 cent, plus that 50 cent chance to burn that 50%. Okay, that 50% chance to burn. Anyway, let's just go over everything and we can talk about the stat spread in a second here. But what's notable, like I said, is again, the reason Entei is such a threat now is because of its speed tier, going up against a lot of Pokemon that, a lot of teams, I should say, that aren't carrying water types these days. Of course, you do have to worry about things like Earthquake, but maybe you can get that Sacred Fire off first, or just don't lead with it. It's also interesting because sometimes Intimidate's not the best, right? You can see Entei as kind of like almost an Arcanine. However, Entei doesn't have Intimidate, which can be good and bad. If you already have an Intimidate user, then Arcanine's a great secondary. Entei's a great secondary, because Arcanine, sometimes you don't want to have too much Intimidate. There's threats like Bisharp, Milotic, there's tons of Pokemon that just can counter your Intimidate. So Entei's a really good Pokemon. Anyway, let's start off with the item here. It is going to be Safety Goggles. This is another reason I really liked this build, simply because of this these Safety Goggles here. I thought it was a really great call because the Safety Goggles make it so that if someone likes to lead with Amoonguss and maybe set up a Kangaskhan or just get rid of you early with Kangaskhan, you will not be phased by any sort of Rage Powder. You won't be able to be put to sleep if you're in a Trick Room situation with an Amoonguss. Venusaur as well, so it's great. It also has access to an incredible move, Sacred Fire. Now this is huge. The reason Sacred Fire is so important is because not only does it get really good burn, or really good damage, I should say, really good fire type damage, but it has a 50% chance to burn. Check this out, 50% chance, oops, I clicked the button there, 50% chance to burn the target. What? That's pretty crazy, and it thaws the user. Heyo! But seriously, 50% chance to burn is incredible. 50% of the time, as you know, in Pokemon is nearly 100% of the time. So if you hit with Sacred Fire, you're probably going to have a good time, especially if it goes into something like a Kangaskhan, a Landorus, whatever that attacks physically, or any grass types. The reason burn is good on things like Breloom is because it will get rid of its Focus Sash, any Focus Sash user that you can one-shot. This also works really well against Aegislash, who will take the hit, possibly get burned, maybe go into shield form, take a little bit more burn damage. So it really puts a lot of pressure on an Aegislash in shield and or blade form. It doesn't really matter. So awesome move there, Sacred Fire. Now the next move, of course, is very similar to Arcanine. It's going to be Snarl, and Snarl, if you don't know, it has a 100% chance to lower the foe's special attack by 1 stage, but its accuracy is 95%. You'll pretty much hit it every time, you know, unless you have high luck, then you'll miss it twice in a row. Anyway, the next move on there is going to be Stone Edge. So this is great coverage here for Entei. It's got a lot of speed, and should be able to get a Stone Edge off, especially if you give it a high speed investment. It will beat other Pokemon. Lots of other fire types or flying types will have a bad time with that, of course. And then we'll round it out with Protect. So Protect's also a nice move here on Entei. You can just keep it on the field longer, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But let's move on now to the stat spread. What's important for this particular Pokemon is to have speed, of course, like I said. So this one's interesting. It's actually got 196 speed, which puts it in an interesting speed tier. It's like the 145 speed tier. So if you're really into competitive play, that's maybe something you want to check out. See exactly which Pokemon that Entei will outspeed at this tier, and don't be afraid to try and play more aggressive in those situations. So there you go. You're at the 196. It's also going to have a pretty decent investment into hit points here. It's already at 115 base, which is like really nice. Oops, I went way too far there. Wow, sliders go fast. There's 100 there. We're gonna go with 116 attack, which is actually gonna make this Entei a little bit more of a threat to Pokemon. People might be surprised. They might think, oh my gosh, this Entei is gonna be so bulky. It's not gonna be able to hit me very hard. I'll double up on the other Pokemon there, and then boom! Stone Edge in your face! Stone Edge in your face, Sacred Fire in your face. Gonna have a bad time. Let's also give it a little bit additional defense there. The things that we're afraid of here, of course, are things like Earthquake and stuff. So those are usually physical attack. Hey, Earthquake's usually physical, you know. I haven't really seen too many special Earthquakes. And then also a little bit of special defense. There we go, about 52 there. All right, so that kind of spreads out your physical and special defense right about in the 1 to 110 range. It gives you a nice base investment of hit points, good strength there, and and a good speed tier to counter your opponents. Now we're also going to give it an Adamant Nature. So this is an interesting one. Gives it a little bit more attack and subtracts from special attack, which of course you do not need here. But that's going to actually make Entei pretty threatening, and people will get worried. Once they see how much damage it's going to do, they might actually try and double up into it, and you could set yourself up for a really nice Protect play there. So I'll show you guys really quick some other information you need to know about this Entei with this stat spread, with this moveset. Let's check it out. Alright, as you guys can see, I pulled up the thread here on PokemonForever.com again from user GMX. Give them a shout out if you head over there and say thanks, or just post on this little build here. I'll put a link in the description. Like I said earlier, it hits that 145 speed stat. Adamant Nature to put, of course, more offensive pressure on there. The 116 EVs gives it the bump, you know what I'm saying? That bump just to do enough damage. Safety Goggles, like I said earlier, the answer for that Trick Room, Amoonguss, or that Amoonguss plus Kangaskhan, Amoonguss plus Azumarill. The Amoonguss Gardevoir leads are so annoying, and that Entei will counter it great. Or this Entei, this Entei. Entei will definitely counter it. This is the big one here, guys. This build will allow Arcanine to outspeed Adamant Landorus, Timid Heatran, and the very common, of course, Modest Charizard Y. Modest Charizards to do a little bit more damage. I mean, if someone goes with like a timid Charizard, well, too bad, sorry, but for the most part, you can get that Stone Edge off onto these Charizards. People won't expect it, and well, I mean, they might expect it, but you'll at least put the threat there that they have to switch or protect, so that might lead you to have a more advantageous play there. Stone Edge is really nice, too. Here's a little damage calc for you guys. It's an OKO on that 252 HP for defense Mega Charizard Y at -1 attack. So that's kind of really interesting. -1 Timid Heatran Earth Power is a 3-hit KO. So Heatrans can be kind of bulky and annoying, and that's also with a -1 there. You can still get a 3-hit KO on him. Modest Gardevoir Hyper Voice is a 4-hit KO on Entei. So you're essentially a big counter to Gardevoir here, and they can also survive a jolly Mega Kangaskhan Double Edge. Thank you very much, Entei. Thank you. So that about wraps it up for this Entei. Let's review it again really quick. It's got the Safety Goggles item, Run in Sacred Fire, 50% chance to burn, Snarl, reduce your enemy's special attack by 1 stage. Does have a 95% chance to hit, unfortunately, but it is 100% on the secondary effect. Stone Edge, risky move, but totally pays off if if it hits. And then the standard protect, you can see the move spread again. We went 100 into hit points, 116 into attack, 44 into defense, 52 into special defense, and 196 into speed, letting it hit that 145 speed tier. Also gave it the adamant nature for the plus to attack and the minus to special attack that is unneeded. Get your Enteis now. I'm sure there's someone giving one away right now on PokemonForever.com. Shout out to GMX for the build, and check this out. Do you like Pokemon? How about action figures? Well, guess what? I'm giving away 2 of these Cynthia and Garchomp toys for free. I'm trying a new type of giveaway that lets you gain multiple entries, so it could be awesome or an epic fail. Either way, someone is going to win some sweet loot. There are tons of ways to enter, like following me on Twitter and Twitch, or watching YouTube videos and visiting PokemonForever.com. Just check out the link in the description and you'll be on your way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. To see me battle, catch shiny Pokemon, or learn how to become a professional Pokemon player, just click on the videos or check for links in the description below. Also, I started a new series recently where we look at the differences between towns in the Pokemon remakes. Feel free to click on that as well. If you can't get enough Pokemon, make sure to continue your journey by heading over to PokemonForever.com, where you can trade, find battles, and get tips from fellow trainers. See you next time!